Okay. Have you considered how well we have it in America? In today's society, we have spent many efforts into reducing pollution and recycling to make our environment better. My name is Heather Sharp. I'm going to talk to you today about how bad it is in the pollution in the environment is in China. China is faced with detrimental effects from years of pollution. The causes of pollution ranging from air pollution, water pollution, and coal-field power plants. The lives of the Chinese are compromised with the environmental crisis, placing many in cancer villages. Cancer is China's largest killer. China rates have increased 80% in 3 years. The increased rates of China have left many living in what are called cancer villages. Cancer villages began in China around the late 1990s. There are estimated 450 cancer villages across China. The name Cancer Village came about due to high rates of cancer, many in rural areas populated by industries. The rural residents are at increased risk of death from stomach and intestinal cancers, mainly due to polluted water. As you see on the PowerPoint, this shows a lot of the areas that the map of China's cancer villages, that there are so many in the rural populated areas. Water pollution comes from fertilizers, pesticides, and livestock waste. The #1 contamination of the waters are due to agricultural runoffs. Toxic chemicals and industrial waste have poisoned the rivers, lakes, and waters. The large amount of industries in the rural area discharge their waste products in the water daily, thus leaving the residents to drink, bathe, and use water that is contaminated. Unless you're one of the fortunate ones that can afford bottled water, then you have to use the waterways for your everyday life. After waterways show signs of toxicity, residents would dig wells, only to find that water is also contaminated with high levels of ammonia, iron, magnesium, and zinc. The waters have so many contaminants that it is turned red. It also leaves people with red, itchy, pimply areas on their skin and kills the fish. As it shows here, these are the red rivers, the red waterways that turn the people's skin red and itchy. And these are also the rivers that contaminate their fish, leaving just so many dead fish. Crops are no longer growing due to the polluted soil. Dust and runoff from arsenic plagues China, destroying crops and poisoning people. Rice is unable to grow, and many plants die due to heavy arsenic concentration in the water, and rain washes airborne pollutants to the field. This also leaves the poor left to eat contaminated crops. Villagers from a cancer village wrote to the government seeking aid and compensation in 2010 when 157 villagers died within 2 decades. According to the World Health Organization, arsenic and inorganic arsenic compounds used for herbicides, wood preservatives, and metallurgic industries are listed as carcinogenic to humans. A document written by McKinkle stated China has been polluting and utilizing toxic chemical, many places experiencing a drinking water crisis and pollution, causing serious social issues like the emergence of cancer villages. The government has acknowledged the existence of cancer villages. They set up a 5-year plan of environmental initiatives, which factories are required to report real-time figures on air emissions and water discharges. There are $275 billion given to clean up the air, and they set the country's environmental protection law to allow the stricter punishments when the laws are broken. The most recent victory for the residents of China came from one of the heaviest pollutant companies, Fujian Solid Waste Disposal Company, which specializes in incinerating medical waste. A highly toxic chemical, dioxin, has been polluting the area, causing reproductive, developmental, and damage to the immune system, liver problems, and cancer. Therefore, the company had to pay out 6 million yen in compensation. Activists wish to breathe clean air, drink safe water, and use contaminated soil. I believe to achieve this, it will take decades of commitment. the government will have to enforce and regulate strict laws and guidance for the industries to follow. There should be medical care set up to follow treat the members of the Cancer Village that are affected with years of pollution. Clean water stations could be brought in to provide the residents with clean drinking water until the waterways are cleaned up. Garden stations could be set up with fresh, clean soil to allow the residents to an area to grow fresh vegetables. Thus, the improvements could be a new starting process while the environment is being cleaned and prepared for the residents to use. In conclusion, years of pollution have left the Chinese to deal with the environmental inequality. China's pollution are the results of corruption and negligence, affecting rural areas with a vast amount of industries that are not following regulations. Cancer villages have left many in fear for their lives due to the environmental crisis that they face daily. Action must be taken by the government now to make right all that has been left from the industrial and agricultural pollutants.